just gonna do that then. Should we look at that camera? Not that.
What do you most admire in him?
Yeah, Joanna. My first impression of Joanna, she came over to our church, to my church, and they were visiting to see what our system or our church looked like for our youth. And I remember just looking at her and it's like, wow, that girl is beautiful.
My first impression of him was he was really, really odd. It was like this guy with
Tattoos.
He was very muscular and he had tattoos, and he looked like if you went up to him, you would get beat up or something.
That was part of the gang, you know?
Yeah, and he was riding a motorcycle too.
I rode a motorcycle.
So it was super weird, and he came up to me and he, like when he smiles, it's like a kid. So it was like, whoa, that guy's really weird. It's like you think he'd beat you up, but he was very friendly. So I thought he was interesting.
Interesting but odd.
Interesting, very odd.
And childish. Odd. What I most admire about Joanna is how much of a child she is. She can laugh at anything and she doesn't take things too seriously. I think there's just so many things in the world that we can be sad and be serious about, and sometimes just laughing is a great form of therapy and a great form of what God is about. I feel like God is a God who laughs, and when you laugh, I feel like God's laughing too.
The thing I admire most about you is how patient he is. He puts a lot of patience into this relationship, and I act like a child a lot because I work with kids and their personalities, they really rub off on me, and I throw tantrums.
You don't throw that much tantrums.
I threw a pillow at him once, and I was just on the couch, and I was just like screaming, and he was like laughing at me. And he was just, you're able to calm me down.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's really nice to have. We really balance each other out.
So how did I ask this girl out? This beautiful girl out. Well, during the Youth Fest happening in 2016, there was an auction that happened, and one of the auction was having dinner with their parents, and I knew that was happening around September, your birthday. And it's like, I gotta win this. I have to win this. I'm gonna ask her parents out then. So I beat everybody. Like I waited till the last minute, and I put my name down, and I beat whoever was in the list by double. And my plan was to go there and have dinner with them and say, hey, I've been praying about this, and I want to take your daughter out, and I'm serious about this. It's not just a fling. So I won it, and Joanna, you ended up coming, right? You ended up coming. Like, what do you?
Oh man, I remember.
Right.
In the car before we actually went out for dinner, my parents were talking to me about you.
They were asking you, hey, I think your mom was like, I think I know what Ramli's gonna ask me. Are you sure about this?
Yeah, and it was like they just kept saying, "Are you sure?" And we were there for a good 30 minutes. Them just asking, "Are you sure? This is." After this, it's gonna be marriage.
What the heck? It's just the first thing.
Yeah, and then I've never told my parents that I've ever liked anyone. So you were actually the first one
Right.
I've ever told anyone that I really, really actually wanted to date.
Right. We didn't say to each other we like each other, but we had this understanding that we've been praying for each other. At that point, we also even fasted from each other. We stopped talking to each other for like a few weeks to say, hey, if this is really from God, we want to make sure that it's not purely emotional.
Yeah.
But your parents didn't know that. So we went to the sushi dinner, and you're there, and we're talking about you there.
Yeah, it was like a deer with headlights.
At the sushi dinner, it's like, hey,
weird.
I've been praying about your daughter, and then you were just like this, like. And then it's like, Sarama, like, I'm serious about this. I've been praying about this. I feel like this is something that God's been telling me, that Joanna will be a partner with me in my life and my mission in the world. So she didn't want to say yes. And finally, I had to ask her, so Pastor Emma, are he's saying it's okay for me to take her out for her birthday. And she's like, okay, fine, go ahead. Just bring her back in one piece, right? And that's how I asked her out.
I knew he was the one when we spent enough time together during an internship we went to in 2016.
Yeah, in Doulos for Christ,
Yeah.
Virginia.
We were able to spend a lot of time with our friends, with each other, and it was really interesting how much we connected. I've never really met anyone who was so in sync with me and how I think, how I understand God.
Yeah,
Yeah, it clicked. Being him with him clicked.
yeah.
So, yeah.
I got a word from God that this person's Joanna's gonna be your partner one day, and I was shocked. I prayed, and I told my dad about it, and he kept telling me to pray about it, praying and fasting, and God was telling me just to wait. I waited for a year, so it's something that I really held on, and now I'm here. God is good. You're supposed to say all the time.
All the time.
You're supposed to say all the time, right? You forgot. Right, yeah. So it's just you're an answer to an answer to a prayer. You're an answer to a word that God gave me, and something when the world is caving in, I look at you. It's like, yeah, God's good. So stop blushing.